Hey guys, so I'm very excited to film this video because it is kind of a test to see my new filming stuff. I have a new phone, I finally got it, and I also have a ring light, so I really want to see if this maybe improves the quality of my videos. I really hope it does. Basically, this video came about when I was browsing some plants online and I came across a caladium frog in a blender. That's what it's called, at least that's what its common name is. And I that disturbed me. And I was like, who named this plant? Like, could you not have named it like green splash or something, because it has this like green splattery pattern? And who thought, out of all the names that you could give this plant, I'm gonna name it frog in a blender? So that sort of led me down a path of googling to see what other weird names there are of plants, and I'm sure there are a lot more than what I could find. There are a lot that I just didn't think that were actually that interesting, so I didn't include them. I didn't find that many plants with actually weird names. I found a lot of weird plants, which I will be talking about as well, but there are a couple of ones with names that I didn't know and are kind of interesting or weird to me, so enough rambling, let me tell you about them. So yeah, we talked about the frog in a blender, but another one is, this is not like weird essentially, but it's strange because I didn't know that this was another name for a snake plant or a sansevieria, or now they're classified as dracaenas, I think. But essentially, snake plants, another common name for it is mother-in-law's tongue, because it's so sharp. And I actually didn't know that this was another name for snake plants, and I thought it was very interesting because you don't really use that. You don't call them mother-in-law's tongues, you just call them snake plants for the most part. So it was very interesting to find out that it had another name. But yeah, it's weird that even though it's not used commonly, it has other names that people sometimes do refer it to as. And I think there was another one for snake plants, but I didn't write it down. On the topic of weird names or interesting names is the Begonia Darth Vaderiana, and that is actually a name of a plant. It is named after Darth Vader from Star Wars. It was discovered and named by C.W. Lin and C.I. Peng in 2014, and they gave it this name. It was named after Darth Vader. I mean, it's kind of appropriate. I'll probably put a picture here, but it's very appropriate, and I think it's a really cool plant actually. I would love to have this, but I think it's quite rare. Like, there are actually not that many of them. Also, considering it was only discovered 6 years ago, so they're not exactly super commercially available, but I would love to have one of these. I think they're really cool. I really love dark plants in general, and this one looks so cool. I couldn't find a lot more plants that have like super interesting names or weird names. I'm sure there are, and a lot of people would find those names interesting, but I didn't find any that I thought were interesting. There were a lot of names that are like either sexually suggestive or like include like penis or something like that, haha boobies, that kind of funny weird names. But other than, like, I didn't find them to be worthy of including in this video, so I didn't. But there are obviously a lot of weird looking plants. I will not be able to include every single one I found in this video because it would be hours long, because there are so many weird plants on Earth, but I have some that I wrote down. So the first off are Lithops or Lithops. I don't know how to pronounce it, but essentially they're those little stone butt looking type succulents. And yeah, I just find them so weird. There's so many different like varieties and colors and patterns, and I find that really interesting. I'm not sure if I would ever want to own one of those, but I do think it's a really interesting plant. Then I'm really like bad at pronouncing plant names. Well, I don't think I'm bad at it, it's just that sometimes it's hard when it's not something you say on a daily basis. So I've written down Trachyanara tortilis. I think that's it. And it's this super squiggly growing plant. I think it's a succulent. I'm not too sure. I didn't do specifically a lot of research into each plant, but I really think it's really interesting and it looks really cool. I think I would love to have one of those. It looks fantastic. I'm not sure if it's grown specifically that way? Would it, like, if it grows in nature that's squiggly, there's probably different types of that plant, but I just thought it was really interesting and cool, so if I ever see it anywhere, I will definitely pick one up because I think, yeah, they're really, really interesting. Then I had included in this list every type of carnivorous plant and also sensitive plants. So the ones that aren't actually carnivorous but are sensitive to touch. So like the ones that I always forget the name, but the ones that, like, if you touch them, their leaves sort of like go and like close. Yeah, they're so weird and so interesting. It like makes you feel like they're more animals than plants. And I've had a couple of carnivorous plants before. I had a Venus flytrap. Then I had, I think they're called honeydew plants or sundew plants, like the ones with the little dots. There are carnivorous plants as well, and I had one of those, but I do think they're really, really interesting. I find pitcher plants super, super weird. I don't want any pitcher plants. I think that's, I don't know, they're too weird for me specifically, but I know a lot of people really like pitcher plants. People racing down my street, of course. Last but not least on this list, I have the Maranta prayer plants, I think what they're called. I'm not exactly sure if they're just Marantas or stuff like that. I haven't looked into it too much, but I've always found those really, really weird. I'm not sure if I want to have one either. The pattern is really cool that they have, but it reminds me too much of like these large beetles or bugs or something like that, which may be a reason why someone would want it specifically, but not me. While I can acknowledge that there's really cool and interesting, but yeah, it's not for me. Oh, and I think I'm running out of space because I forgot to adjust my storage settings, but it's fine. I think I'm done talking about whatever I wanted to talk about. Let me quickly wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Like this video, comment on this video if I missed any interesting or cool plants. Comment any cool plants or interesting plants that you think I should check out. I would love to check it out. Join our Discord in the description. Social media in the description, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff. That's it. That's the video.